freedom of speech, freedom of thought, and the dharmic contribution, which is freedom from fear. And nobody fears Hindus, nobody fears the indigenous people of Bharat. That's why we've been so welcoming to everybody. But that gift, freedom of fear, freedom of thought, and freedom of speech, they are contributions that we as representatives of the First Nations have yet to contribute in a manner that it was acceptable to the Eurocentric world. In Bharat, this notion that each of us is divine is an incredibly trusting notion, isn't it? It's a notion which says, don't confine people, don't corral people, don't shepherd people, don't direct forcibly the activities that human beings are going to engage in. Allow humanity to evolve in the manner in which we're programmed to do, and that's sufficient. And when I look at the current dispensation in Bharat, I'm sent messages saying, this is terrible, this isn't being done, that's not being done, the government should do this, the government should do that. And I always feel that from one point of view, what the government is doing is holding the space so that the people of Bharat can become more democratically engaged, so that they can contribute their will in how they wish their communities and their society to function. And we're seeing the fruits of that holding of empty space beginning to manifest. The manner in which people across the globe are seizing the gifts of technology to be able to assert their desires, to contribute their voice, is extraordinary. And Citti Media, I recall its birth in Bharat with the support of the government of India. It's an event we held many years ago. It was a group of volunteers wanting to be able to have their voice heard. They seized technology, and now they've become a significant influencer. So from that point of view, the increasing engagement of the people in democratic policy making, I don't think it's ever been as great as it is now. And it's being facilitated with a great deal of support and encouragement. That's a wonderful development. But equally, I can see that an increasingly engaged democratic population would be perceived as a threat to fake democracies. Fake democracies, perhaps monarchies and theocracies which are masquerading as fake democracies, they would struggle to be able to accommodate an incredibly well-engaged democratic population. This is a thought that might be worth considering. But this notion of technology being released into the hands of the great unwashed, I think that strikes fear into the heart of many people. And there are some caveats that really a dharmic perspective could offer guidance on. In this world of duality, where there's artificial intelligence, there's also artificial stupidity. We have the capacity to enshrine the most irrational judgment making facility into silicon, and that's a worry. Recently we have seen what I would term digital colonialism, digital oppression. In the past, humanity's freedom of movement was confined by barbed wire and fences. We have just seen the use of these vaccine passports to digitally confine the freedom of people to move. That's a digital concentration camp. I've recently received a specification of a programmable digital currency, where the transactions that the currency could be used to engage in are themselves programmable. So you could decide, or whoever is controlling that element could decide what that population could and could not buy. It's being presented as a wonderful thing that a parent could actually give their child some funds, and the funds themselves would deny the child the opportunity to buy sweets. Now, isn't that a lovely way of projecting a transactional oppression, shall we say? So these are also happening, and it's the populations, I think, who are now saying, no, we're not happy with this. There is one last concluding thought I'd share, which does concern me, and that is the Eurocentric nature of these conversations. Eurocentricism is a denial of diversity, and it's a denial of global democracy. From outside of the European sphere, we can stand and say we have witnessed Eurocentric wars plunge humanity into darkness which takes decades to recover from. And we're witnessing that rush to engage in yet another Eurocentric war with the same battle drums being beaten, the same non-democratic decisions being made. And I think bearing that in mind, the position that Bharat has taken in saying, no, we will not dance to the drum beats of war that are being beaten. We will approach this from the point of view of a genuine diversity of opinion. And that's a contribution towards a global democratic voice. So all of those things taken into consideration, I'm actually very positive. I think there is a responsibility on the Eurocentric power structures to acknowledge that they must embrace a global diversity of opinion, of motivation, of principles, before they can then receive the mantle of saying, yes, we are the champions and the protectors of the principles of democracy. Bharat has a great contribution to make in this. And from my point of view, the future is very bright, and I'll be cheeky enough to say the future is orange. So thank you very much to everybody. And Jai Shri Ram, I look forward to future engagement.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.